In the last module, we introduced the definition of psychology as the scientific study of mind and behavior. We then broke down some of these terms, particularly this concept of scientific and what it means to explore something using the scientific method and applying critical thinking. And then we talked about this idea of the problem of the difference between mind and behavior, about how behavior can lend itself to scientific study, but the study of the mind becomes complicated. So we introduced the idea of what the goal of psychology is. We talked about where some of the problems come from, that we really need to be able to interact with our subject matter to apply science to, right? We need to be able to make specific, testable predictions, which we call hypotheses. Then we can use our hypotheses and the results of our experiments and our data collection to form theories about the way the mind and behavior function. But in order to do that, we really have to be able to interact with it. We have to be able to, poke things with a stick. And we talked about how modern neuroscience is kind of the ultimate expression of this idea of the mind being a direct product of material, physical things, and therefore we can interact with it directly. How psychologists go about applying the scientific method to the study of the mind and behavior is through a variety of techniques, usually referred to as research methods, or what I'll sometimes, humorously try to call types of sticks, right? What are the sticks that psychologists use to poke at our mind in a more allegorical sense, right? How is research done? When we're applying these research methods, we are doing what is called basic research. Psychology can really be divided into two different major division points: basic research and applied research. Basic research can then be further broken down. Applied research can be further broken down into lots of subfields that explore different issues. Like in basic research, you can look at development, you can look at biology, you can look at social, you can look at evolutionary, you can look at neuroimaging, you can look at drugs, you can look at a variety of different sub-aspects, but at the fundamental core, basic research is attempting to answer the who, what, where, when, and why questions of psychology. Right? How does it function? Where does it work? Why does it work? When does it work? How does it work? Right? We're looking at those very fundamental questions. We're asking them, and we're attempting to construct scientific experiments to answer those questions, to collect data and test our hypotheses. Applied research is where we take the results of all of that research and we apply it in a way to improve people's lives or to modify behavior or thoughts. Applied psychology is what often many people think of when they think of psychology, because that's where things like therapy and counseling come in. Right? So therapy and counseling take answers that have been derived from basic research about how to help people with a variety of issues, and they apply it in that therapeutic setting to assist people. But there's a variety of ways in which we can apply that research. A simple walk down a grocery store aisle will demonstrate a lot of applied psychology. There are psychologists in the industrial psychology that have figured out what color your cereal boxes should be, right? Where they should be placed, right? The difference between end caps and middle shelves and likelihood of consumers to buy them. What lighting should there be in the store? What a lot of people don't realize is many grocery stores, while they will make money selling their products, actually make a lot more of their money selling real estate. Right? Your grocery store actually sells the right to have your products placed in ideal locations. All those end caps, all of those products at the end of the aisle, those products have purchased from the grocery store the right to be in that location. And they know whether or not it's worth it and how much money to spend on it because of the work that psychologists have done. You can look at psychology being applied in schools, in helping education, in helping learning, and maximizing retention. You can look at it in the business, trying to maximize productivity, maximize morale. Right? You can look at it in community organization. How can we design communities to maximize pro-social behavior, minimize antisocial behavior, minimize crime? Right? You can look at it controlling any degree of behavior. Here we see an example of a 24-mile-per-hour speed limit sign. And why might we do this? Well, we know from psychology that when you see the same number over and over again, the 5 and the 0, the 5 and the 0, You tend to habituate to it. You don't even see it anymore. Whereas when you see that 24, it's a bit of a surprise. And your brain's all of a sudden, aha! Right? You pay attention to that 24, and then you make a conscious decision whether or not you're going to continue to speed. The idea is that by changing a 25 to a 24, you may increase the likelihood that people obey the speed limit. Notice this is taking research and observations within basic research and applying them to change behavior, to change thoughts, to improve people's life, or, well, frankly, to control people's thoughts and behavior as well. And psychology has a variety of applications, and that was one of the exercises I had you guys do in that first week, was to review some of the myriad of career choices that are available within the field of psychology. So what we are going to do, however, is we are now going to deep dive a little bit into research methods. Right? We're going to be talking about how psychologists attempt to do the scientific study of mind and behavior, and what the specific research techniques are that are applied. And there's a variety that have different strengths and weaknesses, and we're going to take a look at those starting in the next video.